Hi everyone, welcome to STWAD is Gaming, and as you'll see in this video, the first part of it is me getting through the rest of my STWAD Obby. So if you've had an opportunity to go through it yourself and you've gotten past the obstacle, awesome. Just keep in mind there will be things that will change, things that will be added, things maybe improved, not necessarily taken away, but who knows, where anything's possible. I just hope that you're able to give it a go and can possibly find it. I might have to provide a link in the comments section, mainly because I don't think my YouTube will let me put links in the description just yet, because I haven't done enough videos to get approved for that sort of thing. So, but we'll get to that point. Anyway, hopefully you can see me failing and succeeding in getting through this thing. In this video, you'll definitely see me get through the obby, so you'll know what to expect. Although, when it came to the clear steps, there are some that are electrified. So I actually did get a little bit of help with that part. My son actually did some of it for me because I was just getting way too frustrated. And he got through it like, so quickly that I was kind of a bit disappointed that he didn't get any of the electric ones. So that was just, anyway. But the good part is you'll actually be able to see what happens when you get through it all. I might have to make that part a little bit harder. So anyway, we'll see. I guess we'll see what happens. I've said that like 3 times, I think, in the thing. Anyway, what you've been waiting for the most is obviously a story. So let's start with that. All right, we're going to read more of the Diary of a Wimpy Kid book, Hard Luck. Hopefully you're enjoying the video as well and seeing all the different stuff to do with the games. But anyway, what's more important, let's get stuck into the story. Wednesday. Okay, you know things are bad when even your little brother has more friends than you. A family with a kindergarten-age kid named Mikey moved in down the street a few weeks ago, and Mikey and Manny hit it off. The two of them have been hanging out after school every day since they met. Mikey loves to drink grape juice, and I've never seen him without a juice ring around his lips, so he always looks like a 40-year-old man with a goatee. The only thing Mikey and Manny do together is watch TV. As far as I know, neither of them has ever said a single word to the other, but I guess something about their relationship just works. And even crazier than that, now Grandpa has a girlfriend. I didn't even know you could still date once you got to be Grandpa's age, but I guess I was wrong. I probably shouldn't be surprised. Dad says that at Leisure Towers, the women outnumber the men 10 to 1, so there are always women lined up at Grandpa's door trying to win him over with casseroles and baked goods. Grandpa started dating this widow named Darlene, and we met her this weekend when they came over for dinner. I think it's totally crazy that Rowley and Grandpa both have girlfriends at the same time. All I can say is that if these are the people who are going to populate the next generation, the human race is in big trouble. I never should have opened up to Mum about what's been going on in my social life, because now she's made it her mission to help me find new friends. Yesterday, she invited her old roommate from college to our house because her friend has a son, and Mum thought the two of us might really hit it off. But what Mum didn't mention is that her friend's son is a high school senior, which made for a really awkward afternoon. Lately, Mum's been giving me tips on how to make new friends at school. I think her heart is in the right place, but the advice she gives me would never work with kids my age. For example, Mum said that if I'm just really nice to everyone I meet, then word will spread and I'll become the most popular kid at school in no time. Maybe that kind of stuff worked when Mum was growing up, but kids aren't like that anymore. I keep telling Mum that nowadays popularity is based on stuff like what kinds of clothes you wear and what kind of cell phone you have, but she doesn't want to hear it. At school, there's this big push to encourage positive reinforcement, so they've started taking down all the anti-bullying posters in the hallways because they don't fit with the new theme. Now, instead of punishing kids for acting mean to each other, they're rewarding kids for being nice. The basic idea is that if a teacher catches you being kind to another kid, you get a hero point. If you get a certain number of hero points, you can turn them in for prizes like extra recess time. And the homeroom that gets the most hero points gets a day off from school in June. I actually thought it was a pretty decent idea, but of course people always have to go mess things up. Right away, kids realised they didn't actually have to do good deeds to get hero points. They just started faking good deeds whenever the teachers were around. Hero points are printed on sheets of 10, and teachers tear one off when they want to reward a kid. Eric Glick got his hands on one of the sheets and photocopied it. So after that, there were all these counterfeit hero points going around school. Eric started selling them for 25 cents a point. But then the other kids realised they could make copies too. And after that, there were so many hero points going around that you could buy 100 for a quarter. The teachers got suspicious when the worst kids in our class started turning in tons of hero points for extra recess. So the school invalidated all the hero points printed on white paper and created a whole new batch on green paper. But it didn't take long for people to start making copies on green paper, and the whole thing started all over again. Every time the school changed the colour of the paper, there would be fakes made within 24 hours. Finally, the school started punishing kids who turned in more than 5 hero points at a time, because the teachers saw that as proof they were counterfeit. But that wasn't fair either. Marcel Templeton, one of the nicest kids in our class, got put in detention for the rest of the month, even though he earned his 35 hero points legitimately. Eventually, the janitor busted one of the main counterfeit operations when he walked into an empty science room that kids were using as their base. The school cancelled the whole hero points program after that, which stinks because now that extra recess is off the table, nobody's willing to do anything nice. Sunday. I think Mum took that stuff I said about popularity with kids my age to heart, because today she took me out clothes shopping. Ordinarily, I can't stand going clothes shopping because the only time we do it is at the beginning of the school year, and once a year is enough for me. I've done a lot of boring things in my life, but nothing saps my energy worse than back to school clothes shopping. Usually, Mum takes us shopping at this place downtown called Frugal Freddy's. I think the people who run that store understand, guys, because they give us our own little area to sit while the women shop. Last September, Mum took me and Roderick to Frugal Freddy's and picked out all our clothes for us. Unfortunately, she forgot to come get us after she was done shopping, and she got all the way home before she realised it. I must have been in there for 3 hours before Mum came back to get us. Well, today I was actually excited to go clothes shopping. I got 2 pairs of jeans and 3 shirts, but the thing I was most pumped about was the shoes. All of my shoes are hand-me-downs from Roderick, and whenever I get a pair of his shoes, I have to spend a few hours scraping the bubblegum off the bottoms. The only time I had a new pair of shoes was in 4th grade, when Mum got me some sneakers for the first day of school. I told her I'd never heard of Sportsters before. She told me they were from Europe and had space-age technology. So I was all proud of my new shoes when I went to school. But at recess, the rubber soles on both shoes fell clean off. I was upset, and when I got home I showed Mum, who said not to worry and that would take them back to the store and get new ones. That's when I found out she bought the shoes at the dollar store, and the whole space-age technology thing was just a bunch of baloney. When Mum said she was taking me shoe shopping today, I made sure she knew I was only interested in name brands. It wasn't easy deciding which shoes to get though. There are about 1 million different types, and each one is supposedly good for a specific thing. There are shoes for hiking, shoes for running, shoes for skateboarding, and a bunch of other ones too. There was a pair of fancy high-tech basketball shoes I really liked. They had some sort of thing in the soles that's supposed to make you jump higher, and I was seriously thinking about getting them. But I got nervous that if I bought those, I'd be totally out of control on the walk to school. Then there was a pair of green cross-training shoes that really looked awesome, but on the box it said they were for the serious athlete. So if I got those, I think they'd just be wasted on me. I even thought about getting a pair of those shoes with wheels on them so I could blow by the Mingo kids' woods every day. I finally decided on some shoes that were sporty but not too over the top. Mum asked me if I wanted to wear them home, but there was no way I was going to let my shoes get dirty before I wore them to school for the first time. Plus, it gave me a chance to enjoy the new shoe smell all the way home. Monday. I never noticed how dirty the ground is until I got my new shoes, and not just the actual ground, but the street and the sidewalk too. The way to school's like a minefield of mud and grease and other junk, and you practically have to be a ninja to avoid all of it. In fact, after getting only 1 block from my house this morning, I turned around and went back inside. I got some of those plastic grocery bags to put my feet in, and for a while, everything was good. But eventually, the bottoms of the bags got shredded, and then they didn't give me any protection at all. So I just ripped the rest of the bags off and threw them in the nearest trash can. After that, I did my best to avoid the danger areas. I stayed on the sidewalk until I realised I was getting pebbles in the little grooves of my shoes, and I knew those were going to take forever to dig out with a stick. So I tried to minimise the amount of rubber that touched the cement. Eventually, I gave up and just walked in the grass. By the time I got to school, I was 20 minutes late, but it was totally worth it to show up in style. Unfortunately, we were having a pop quiz in geography, and I had to try and catch up to everyone else. A few minutes into the quiz, I noticed a really terrible smell. At first I thought it was Bernard Barnson, who usually doesn't smell too good in general, but this was way worse than usual. I took my stuff to a desk in the back of the room so I could concentrate on my quiz. But the smell followed me, and that's when I realised where it was really coming from. I must have stepped in dog poop when I walked in the grass, and I knew exactly where it happened too. I took my shoe off and went to the front of the room to tell Mrs. Pope about my situation. But I think Mrs. Pope thought I was trying to skip out on the pop quiz because she gave me a plastic bag to put my shoe in and told me to return to my seat. By now, the rest of the kids had figured out what was going on, and everyone had a good laugh at my expense. Usually I find poop as funny as the next guy, but that's when someone else steps in it. In fact, the best time I ever had with Rowley was on the 4th of July when his parents took us downtown to see the fireworks. We had to get there a few hours early to set up our blanket in the park. One of the police horses unloaded right on the main path where everybody was walking by, and the two of us spent the rest of the night watching people's reactions as they tried to avoid it. Those were some good times, but I guess they're all over now. What really makes me mad is that if everything was the way it was supposed to be, I would have been walking to school with Rowley this morning and he would have been doing his job of scouting ahead. But Rowley had to go and get himself a girlfriend, and now I guess I'm the one who has to suffer. I had tracked Rebel's mess all over the classroom, and they had to call in Mr. Meeks to clean it up. He kept shooting me dirty looks, which made it really tough to concentrate on my pop quiz. After class ended, I went to the front office to see if there was anything they could do to help me. The school secretary let me look through the lost and found box for a replacement shoe, but the only thing in there that even came close was a girl's winter boot. Right then, Mr. Nern came out of the teacher's lounge, and the secretary asked him if he happened to have any spare shoes. Mr. Nern said he actually had an extra pair in his office, and he went to get one for me. I never noticed before, but Mr. Nern has some gigantic feet. And I hope just because he lent me his shoes doesn't mean I have to keep playing checkers with him at recess. And that's it for today. Make sure that you listen out for more videos, and we'll have a lot of other different game content coming soon. I'll also trial out some games I've never played and just say that you can see what the gameplay is for them as well. Anyway, look after yourselves, take care, and bye for now.